All right. Peace and blessings to the family, love and light. It's your brother. I'm Omniamunase. Salute to all the brothers, all the sisters, all the kings, all the queens in the building. Ashe. Today is a beautiful day. Um, I think right now we in the daggone astrologically, we're in the Gemini retrograde. I think it's supposed to be with Mercury, uh, if I'm not mistaken, Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus. No, Mercury, Jupiter, and Virgo. And so those are the energies that we got going on right now. And as we all know, Mercury is the house of communication. You feel me? The Gemini symbol. And maybe, what I'm saying, this is a good time to come before the people and build and chop it up. And so today I wanted to talk about the channel, like, why being woke and consciousness is necessary in 2024. For anybody who been watching this channel and they feel like, I'm just up here just talking, or I'm a racist, or I'm doing hate speech, racial rhetoric. This is not what this is about, family. This is a black news channel platform, all right? And it's made for educational purposes, all right? It's pretty much historical and scientific literacy. And so that's what we deal with. And we vlog sometimes about real life occurrences and stuff that's going on in the world, all right? And so, again, just because I have love for myself and love for my people does not mean that I do not have love for other people, all right? Black people are very loving and a very forgiving people when you consider the Atlantic slave trade, you feel me? And the cotton industry in America and the role that our ancestors played in pretty much building the United States and, being those foundational pieces of modern development. And so, even though we had the civil rights, you know what I'm saying? Even though we had, we still deal with police brutality. I talked about that on, I think, my last bill. And even though we still deal with like racial and social injustices in the world, white people and black peoples, we still try to get along. So I have a few white friends, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't hate them. It's just when I looked into the history, I'm like, dang, they did this, they did that, they did this, they did that. And then, it began to paint a picture. You feel me? I was like, historically, these people being off the chain. And so, just trying to understand like slavery and, why it was black people, why it was African Americans, why our genetic group of people were chosen to deal with that, with that burden. You feel me? And so I built this channel so, we could come together, we could talk, we could build, have productive conversations, intelligent conversations, and progressive conversations that people from the community could gain from. And so that's why I created the channel. So never forget, just because I'm loving on me doesn't mean that I'm hating on you. All right? Just because I'm loving on me does not mean that I'm hating on you, family. All right? And so again, this is not a hate speech. This is not a channel that's made to degrade or to offend people. You feel me? And that's another thing with the offended thing. I try not to offend people. I'm pretty, sometimes I soften things up. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to keep it education based. And I don't want to get too emotional, because once you get too into your feelings or too emotional, it's like there's been times that I believed in things emotionally. I was attached to it. I had a belief to it. And come to find out it wasn't true. Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy, you know what I'm saying? And even the whole Jesus thing, I was, it was a point in time where I believed in these things and I had an emotional attachment. And come to find out it was not true, family. All right. And so just watch yourself when you get offended about things when an individual is just trying to have a productive conversation. Like they were saying on my mother's channel, they was talking about health, and some guy who's a guru on his channel, and he talks about neurobiology, this, that, and the third. And then they got into like diet, saying health, like I was saying, and nutrients. And I was just telling her that the nutrients and as far as like everything that's healthy for the body is going to be based on the biology of the organism. And so I know this may go back into race, but I'm not trying to be racial. I'm just being scientific. We have cells, we have tissues that make up our organs, that make up our skin. And I'm up here looking like, a whole Negro because of the cells and the chemicals that makes up my body. All right, my ancestors, my parents, my genetics. Okay. And so all I was saying is that the gorilla and the lion are two different species. All right. The gorilla is a vegetarian. The lion is not. The lion is a carnivore. All right. The gorilla is a herbivore. Okay. And so my point is for us not to understand that biology has a role to play in nutrition is ignorance, in my opinion. Dr. Sebi says gene food consistency, making sure that we match the genes with the biology of the food, and then we have a consistency or chemical affinity. All right. And so that's what we're looking for. You have animals in the zoo that have diabetes today. All right. They're domesticated wild animals who, others of their kind exist in the wild: lions, tigers, you know what I'm saying? Chimpanzees, different species that they have in the zoo, but they all develop not sugar diabetes, but they develop diabetes over time, all right, due to the domesticated diet. They're not in the wild. They're not eating foods that are put in their natural environment, put in their natural ecosystem. And so I was just saying, from a scientific standpoint, that it's not smart to say that one size fits all. In medicine, in chemistry, in any type of science, it doesn't work that way. Okay, it's kind of just like a mechanic with a car. You get a diagnosis on the car, you find out what's wrong, and then you address those problems, and your solution is based on what the problem is. Okay, and anyway, every car takes certain oil, every car takes certain gas. You can't put the wrong oil in the wrong car. You can't put the wrong fuel in the wrong car. You will damage the car. The car is not made based on, just random ideas and concepts that you want to just make up on your own. It's designed a certain way. And that's what I mean when I'm dealing with biochemistry, when I'm dealing with immunological responses based on DNA and genetics, okay? And anybody just can't do anything. And so she was talking about some type of cleansing or detox where individuals was taking like cold baths. And I was just bringing to her attention that when we die, the body turns cold. The body has no heat. You know what I'm saying? There's no thermodynamics going on at that point. You know what I'm saying? You at like, the absolute zero. You feel me? And so even in the Arctic, in the polar regions, it's more distant from the equator. You feel me? There's less sunlight. It's not as temperate. It's colder. And in those regions, it's less plants growing, like Greenland, Iceland, you know what I'm saying? Antarctica, stuff like that. Now, life forms have existed. Scientists have, discovered plants and stuff like that under the ice. But I mean, there's so much ice and so much coldness that life cannot thrive. And so the concept of taking a cold ice bath doesn't make sense for an individual who has any ties or ancestral, connections to Africa or the tropics or South America, people who come from tropical regions. It does not serve them to take a cold bath when we can't even live in the cold. All right. And so that's just my point, family. You got cold-blooded organisms, you got warm-blooded organisms. You got organisms who do better in the tropics, but you got some who would never be able to adapt to the polar regions. And you got some that can, you feel me? So anyway, I was just saying that taking them cold baths is not for black people. But anyway, if you want to try it, that's up to your discretion. But yeah. I've also heard the conspiracy of sickle cell anemia when you talk to a doctor and you tell them that you get cold fast, because we're black people and some people are not, but if you is, then you know what I'm talking about. We get cold fast, and if we're in the cold and we're getting cold fast, it's just like a plant that's in like very low temperatures. You feel me? Like the plant is not getting radiation. It's not getting sunlight. It's in cold temperatures. It's going to actually wither away, just like the fall in the northern hemisphere. If you live in America and we in this northern hemisphere, you see how it goes in the season cycles. You feel me? Like once it gets cold and we go into the fall, we at the vernal equinox and we're getting less sunlight. The plants notice that. All right? They're getting less radiation. They notice that it begins to get colder in the fall. All right? The temperatures begin to drop, and then you see the plants begin to wither away. So my point is, like, biochemically, genetically, thermodynamically, it's not made to function in that way. Like if you are a tropical organism or organisms whose DNA synthesis is based on light, like photosynthesis, such as plants, right? Then being in the cold environment will not biologically serve. That's all I was saying. And it's not to be offensive to other races or other people, but there is a difference between the immunological responses, the reproductive, system and mechanisms, between different groups of humans. And that's based on the genes, the biochemistry, the DNA, all right? Okay, so same thing with melanoma skin cancer. The word melanin is in the word melanoma, and is a malignant tumor that occurs from sunlight exposure. Again, we got all different type of tribal people that come from Africa, South America, Central America, even North America. You feel me? Who these people didn't wear clothes like we did. Like, what I'm saying? They barely wearing clothes. They got little feathers, what I'm saying? Little straws of hay, little leaves covering them up, and they in the sun living naturally. And so, and we see in modern civilization, you got people wearing sunscreen. They coming up with a chemical to try to, cover themselves up, to try to protect themselves from the sun. But just think about it. Sunscreen is a new invention, that it's no older than 100 years. You feel me? And so people haven't been always in houses. People haven't always been using sunscreen. People haven't always went to McDonald's and Burger King. You know what I'm saying? People, this is a new way of life. You know what I'm saying? The new world, colonialism, capitalism, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, It's no longer the 13 colonies. Everything is new because the colonists took over, family. And so we like to cover the historical content, like I said, scientific content. If you guys have anything as far as like something you want to add to the conversation and you feel like you disagree or you agree, then it's cool. But we're going to be doing more bills later on. Make sure you guys hit up the Cash App. It's Omnis Natura 360 LLC, all caps, $, OMNISNATURA 360 LLC. All right, that's the Cash App to show support for more content creation. All right, if you're somebody who you feel like black conscious content and being woke is something that serves you, your friends and your family, your kids, then feel free to stick around and and share the content and get it out to more people so it can be a blessing to others. You feel me? Like I was saying, one day I was on a guest on my mother's channel, and I was talking about being a ruler and a leader of great charity and of great morality and virtue. And I talked about Mansa Musa. And Mansa Musa, you know, he was of like the 12th century AD. He was a ruler, a king from out of Mali. All right, and Mali is an African country. And I think they practice voodoo and all that stuff there. You know, astrology. They do rituals based on astrology. They do all that. But he was a great king, and he disrupted the world's economy at one point in time. His country was a country that was abundant in natural resources, and gold was one of them. And so gold was so abundant and plentiful in Mali that the man went around to different nations giving out bars of gold, right? And he didn't ask for anything in return. It was just charity. You know, my country has it. We have a lot of it. You know, maybe you guys could use some. You feel me? And so his story is a story that speaks volumes to a virtuous and a good ruler, a real king. You know what I'm saying? And I like the way he moved. And so anyway, we got people like Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. You feel me? You know, one person with 30-something felonies. You know what I'm saying? A gangster, a mobster. You feel me? A racist. All of those things. And people still like them and still vote for them. So I think the people also reflect their own virtues and their own values and morals. Like if you're supporting something, then you're behind it, you resonate with it, you believe in it, you on that same thing. You feel me? And so if you a Donald Trump supporter, then that shows, you know, what you own, the vibe that you own. Kamala Harris, same thing. Yes, she's a black woman. I love black women. The black woman is God in my book. You feel me? The universe, the cosmic egg, you know what I'm saying? The womb, the black hole, you feel me? That's the origins of space, matter, and time. You feel me? And I understand, you know, the role that she plays in creation. And it's a beautiful thing. But the modern black woman has been colonized. Same thing, capitalized, brainwashed. You know what I'm saying? Robbed of identity. Like me and my brother, we was talking about the difference between Africans and African Americans. And he was saying that, yeah, we may have the same genes, the same genetics, and we're Negro, we're black people. But the difference between the colonization in Africa and in the Americas is that the colonization in the Americas, the black people lost their identities. They lost their culture. Like Africans still have African names. They still know their tribal language. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a friend of mine who's from the Congo was telling me about the Lingala language, and that's his tribal language. But he told me they speak French, and I was like, come on, bro, how y'all speaking French? So anyway, the French colonized the Congo, so that's why they over there speaking another nation language. But anyway, just an example. You feel me? Colonization affected people, it affected culture. You know, our cultural continuity. You know what I'm saying? For us to be able to latch on to an identity and say, this is who we are. You know, we built the pyramids. We built the megalithic structures. We came up with some of the first calendar systems, the first literal writing systems, like alphabetical writing systems, the Phoenicians. And so anyway, I think it serves our community to know about these type of things. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, but the world ain't running right. You feel me? And if we want to make it a better place, there's a way that we can do that. So support the Omnivision EDU, all right? Omnivision meaning all, vision meaning to see. So to see all, you know, or all seeing. It means the same thing as the symbol of Horus, you know, to tap into the divinity, into the universal network, and to see holistically instead of partially. And so the Omnivision EDU welcomes everybody, you know what I'm saying? And we just want to build with you, fellowship with you. And it's really a positive thing, I believe. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not harming anybody. We ain't in no code making people do stuff they don't want to do. We're not doing none of that, family. We're just giving people the option to make their own choice. You feel me? When you rob people of knowing, of knowledge, and rob them of the holistic way of thinking, they cannot make responsible choices because they're not educated on what is the right thing to do and what is the wrong thing to do. And so again, we're focusing on history, right? And the science of black people. I call it natural science, all right? The science of nature, you know, the ecosystem, the biome, the biosphere, you feel me? Biology, you know, these things deal with natural science, physics. And it's pretty much just knowledge of nature. You know, we're here existing in nature, in the universe. You feel me? It's all around us. Even if none of this human stuff was going on, we still would need oxygen to breathe. We still would need the sun to stimulate the plants to produce CO2, to produce oxygen and other, you know, things that we need for the basic ingredients of survival. You feel me? And so nature is divinity, and it's what matters, no matter what humans are doing. All right. And so I feel like a lot of decisions that are being made too, as far as like government and policies, is all based on the anticipation of the Earth's evolution, like climate change, global warming. Research the Paris Agreement, signed 2015 by 192 nations. All right, they have interest in slowing down the CO2 emissions. All right, CO2 is a natural greenhouse gas that comes from fossils, that comes from forestry, that comes from the ocean. All right, and we know that the Earth is over 75% water. All right, and a lot of the CO2 is just a natural occurrence, but human beings are emitting gases as well. But I don't believe it's CO2. I believe it's CO1 actually, carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is a man-made gas that's produced in cars. All right, when you're sitting in your car, you got on your AC, your air conditioning. Carbon monoxide is present. If you roll them windows up for too long and you sit in that car, it'll take you up out of here. All right, they had carbon monoxide poisoning in one of Terry's, Raleigh, North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? That's my home city or whatnot. You know, I grew up like with my grandmother, bless her soul, RIH to, my angel. And I always love her, I always miss her. Miss Bernice Jones, Bernice Sanders. And we was in the old folks, section in one of Terry's. It's like a project in North Carolina, you know what I'm saying, brick project. And she raised me up, she taught me some things, you feel me? But just learning family and just taking real life occurrences and situations, and then learning from book knowledge and then natural observation knowledge, you feel me, just thinking. And just never forget, somebody told me to read a book. I've read books, of course. I would rather read what is it? The Thomas Nelson dictionary, Nelson's medical dictionary. I read stuff like that. The periodic table. I don't read regular books like that. And so anyway, I like to get into the discipline, into the science of how things work. And then you can figure everything else out. We just need to know the basics, the basic mechanics of how things function, and that's what science is all about. All right. I was talking about my grandmother and the carbon monoxide poisoning in one of her tears. It was a lawsuit. She got money behind it. You know what I'm saying? But carbon monoxide is a man-made poisonous gas, family. It's in cars. It's in homes, apartments. Commercial buildings, is a man-made after effect. You feel me? And it's not CO2. And so the CO2 is coming from the natural world. And these countries, these nations are trying to slow it down. But I have reason to believe that these things are happening naturally. Okay? It has nothing to do with man doing it. You feel me? And over the years, family, I've accumulated a good amount of knowledge and understanding about the universe and physics and chemistry and what's natural, what's not. The influences that were made, culturally, since colonialism, as far as education and finding out that Hippocrates and Aristotle, um, what's his name? Galileo Galilei, all these great Greeks, like they studied in Egypt, they studied in Africa. And so when you have Europeans believing they know everything and that they founded everything, it's hilarious. You get into the history, you find out that these people got their education from Africans. And most people believe Africa is poor. Africa doesn't have it. Africa is one of the world's leading exporters in natural resources, family. All right? It's not poor. It's very rich. All right? And that's why there's always war. That's why there's always, like tyrant, the terrorism and stuff like that going on. You feel me? It's over the resources. That's what colonialism is about. Capitalism is about stealing another nation's resources. In the tropic region of the earth, there's more resources because where it's located, we're close to the magnetic core, right? And the magnetic core is very hot. It produces, lava, the substance that comes from volcanoes. And then we even see from volcanoes that it produces land. Once the volcano material cools off, it turns into land like an island. Different minerals come up out it. You feel me? Like stones, diamonds, all type of stuff come from that. That whole, creation process of this, this matter that has no form, has no shape, but it's going to take form and it's going to take shape, but it's going to become something. But anyway, the tropics is a resourceful area. And then you have Greeks, Romans, they coming from out of the tropics, coming into Africa. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we had a Arabic slave trade, we had the Atlantic slave trade. These are real things. I don't see how people try to act like this is fake stuff, man. It's real. It's real life. Like your children dealing with this. Going into schools, like the stuff that they're teaching, they're showing us roots and us being slaves for 8 hours, the longest movie ever produced. Longer than the Titanic. 8 hours of showing us being slaves. But no movie showing the Egyptians as Nubians, as Negroes, as black people. So it's like, we can show your shame, but we can't show your gain. We can't show your wins. We can't show, your greatness. And when you go into the temples, some of the Egyptian temples, Mayan temples, you will see that the people are of color, all right? They're not white, they're not Asian, they're people of color, like Nubians, like black, they're black, all right? Black and brown, all right? And so we're not going off of what Hollywood tells us we are and who we were. When you look inside the temples, when you look inside the megalithic structures, you see the people depicting themselves, what they wore, their language, right? How they dressed. You feel me? All of that is preserved, is documented the same way that we document in our modern civilization. These people document it, all right? And so there's a way to substantiate what is being said by Brother Omnis, all right? And so it's not a game. History is real. Science is real. And, it's ironic that we can be together as a nation after the African Americans helped to found the nation, through the cotton industry and the American Industrial Revolution. We can be separate, but then we can be together, once everything is flowing. Tulsa, Oklahoma, they got bombed when they did the Black Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? Domesticated terrorism right in America by America's own. You feel me? As soon as we got released from the Emancipation Proclamation, right? Abraham Lincoln. And black people try to do their own thing, you know, because we're very intelligent, very capable, and we don't really necessarily need another group of people, and never have, because we have the oldest civilization, right? We have the oldest documents, you know, fossils trace back the furthest, you know, all of that. I mean, yeah, so that narrative that we were uncivilized and that we were savages in the bushes and that we needed education and we didn't need any of those things. We already had it, all right? And so, yeah, just to touch on that, family, since people getting it misconstrued, I'm not a racist. Just because I love on myself does not mean that I have hatred towards you, all right? Doesn't mean that at all right? Because it's healthy to love yourself. It's healthy to be comfortable with yourself. It's healthy to know yourself. You feel me? And our people have a lot of, you know, historical contributions that are great. You know, to see images of pharaohs, of rulers, of emperors, you know what I'm saying, who were Nubians, like black people, and they were great and they have great legacies. And to know that we were more than just pimps and thugs and prostitutes and whores and, you know, all these types of things. You know, it's more to life than what the European has showed us and has given us. And so I just wanted to elaborate on what the channel is about and what to anticipate in the future. All right. So again, this is Black News 720. I'm the Vision EDU. Make sure y'all hit the Cash App. Again, it's Cash App $ Omnis Nature 360 LLC. That's all cap OMNISNATURE 360 LLC. In the YouTube, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe for future notification, all right? Because it's going down big 2024, and there's no other place that you can go to get the information that you get from Omnivision EDU. Again, this is all seeing, all understanding, knowledge, wisdom, all right, and understanding. So, love and light to all the brothers and sisters in the building. I thank you for your support and for your time. Again, the Nature God Omniamunase 2126. That's the YouTube. All right. YouTube, TheNatureGod Omniamunase 2126. All right. Again, we got videos debunking Western scholarship on this channel, showing how the evolution theory is falsified. All right. Showing how the ABO blood group study is I wouldn't say it's completely falsified. There's a structure to the study and it makes a lot of sense. But the one thing that doesn't make sense is to say that everyone are hybrid. Everyone stems from hybrid ancestry, or that everyone has correlation or genetic connections to Neanderthal, which is not true. Human beings cannot begin as a species as a hybrid, as we understand that a hybrid is a combination of two separate species. All right, you take the chromosomes of one species that has no relative relation to another species, and you mix them together and mix the characteristics together, like a man and a monkey. That's what a Neanderthal is. Is a primate mixed with a human. Now, I don't know how that happened, but it happened. And so we have fossils that show that human beings were merged together with primate phenotypes in biology, all right? And they know this by the paleontologists and the anthropologists, okay? Lucy, all of that, I know y'all familiar with that. That's an Australopithecus, is a hybrid. So anyway, there's good information on the channel. I'm not going to get all the way into it, but I got plenty of videos going step by step showing you what it is and why this mainstream teaching is hiding something. It's a falsification. They're not acknowledging something. That's what ignorance is, to ignore. And when people get in their feelings about education, I believe that's what they did with the sun god, with the Egyptians and the Nubian people. They took away our culture. They took away our way of worship because it did not favor them. All right. If the sun god gives you melanoma, then it doesn't make sense for you to keep worshiping the sun god. But my point is, You know, you taking something that's realistic and you giving us mythos. You giving us Jesus. You giving us an entity that's not a realistic entity that exists, that affects our world. All right. The sun god has been here before any human, before the formation of this planet. Again, in the beginning, there was darkness, and God said, let there be what? Let there be light. Okay. The Big Bang Theory, the origin of the Milky Way's of the first star of the Milky Way galaxy. All right. Complete darkness. And then out of nowhere, nuclear fusion, the birth of the first star. In the beginning, there was darkness, and God said, let there be light. All right. And so the creation story breaks down in different cultures, and they, you know, there's different breakdowns and you know, depending on who you're dealing with and what you're dealing with. But anyway, the universe is reality, and I'm teaching universalism. So that's one of the things that make Omnivision EDU different, is that I'm not teaching my own individual way. All right. Like I said, we all need oxygen to breathe, no matter what your religion is, no matter what your astrology is, no matter what your genetics is. We all need oxygen to breathe. That's a universal concept. Just like we got hieroglyphics in Egypt, hieroglyphics in Asia, and we have hieroglyphics in South America, hieroglyphics in North America. This is a universal concept of understanding, of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And so I want to bring that back. I want to get rid of the division, how you got all the denominations in Christianity. All of y'all Christian, but you got all these denominations. It's division. You know what I'm saying? You taking the 13 colonies and you turn it into 52 states. That's division, right? This land, that land, this the boundaries. You know what I'm saying? And then even with Africa, like with the Israelites believing, you know what I'm saying, the Israelite thing, like, you know, Israel was just established in like, I think like the 1920s or 1930s. And so before that, that land did not have that name. And so when you try to compare that to the Bible, how could you make sense of that? That was not the name of that place back then in those times. And then the land is very close to Egypt anyway. And so anyways, politics involved with this stuff, family. But like I said, on this channel is about universalism. I'm trying to bring that way of thinking back. You know what I'm saying? Break the chains of colonialism, break the chains of capitalism, break the chains of this way of thinking and this way of life that is counterproductive to the earth and counterproductive to all life. All right. And so, you know, that's the only thing, you know, you know, we have an African ancestry. I believe that we should have African way of thinking, African way of life, of culture, of spirituality. Like it would be weird, like I said, to see a lion acting like a giraffe. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't got no long neck. You can't get all the way up there in that tree. You can't do that. You're not made like that. So it would look silly. And so for my mother, I love her, you know what I'm saying? But for the people on her channel who believe in the one size fits all, that's not true. The universe is based on variety. All right. Even the colors of the rainbow, the spectrum, the electromagnetic, different ranges of bandwidths, all right, and different frequencies, different colors. And so let's not get into the one size fits all. But it's okay to have slavery and be separate. That's the only thing. Yeah, one size fits all when it comes to medicine. Everybody do this. Everybody, there is no difference. But go and research the Duffy blood type. U Duffy. All right. This is a non-antigenic blood type, meaning they have no association with Neanderthals genetically. All right. Meaning it has, so that means that this is a human group that has more purity because there's no artificial interference in its genome. Hybridization, gene splicing, those are man-made scientific phenomena. You feel me? And it can be done because it happens today with fruit, with animals, dollar the sheep, 1997, it was one of the first successfully hybridized animals, you feel me? But like I said, it can be done. It's a concept in genetics that exists, but it's not natural. And I think the people who teaching the study should tell the people that, there is a natural group who has no antigens, that anything that has parasitic microbes in it will harm them. Yeast, beer, dairy, yeah, I was even told when my twins was born that 75% of African Americans are lactose intolerant. And so it's an immunological phenomena that's associated with genetics, right? African Americans do not do well with pathogens, with antigens. And like I said, in the A group has A antigen, B group has B antigen, AB group has A and B antigen. All right. The O group is antigenic free, meaning it has no antigen. And again, the study was founded by Carl Landsteiner and A.S. Weiner, all right, in the 1930s. All right. When conducting a scientific experiment between a monkey and a rabbit, they took the two different species. It's like I was telling my mother, we're made differently. And they did something really dumb. They took the blood from the rabbit and put it in the monkey. No, the blood from the monkey and put it in the rabbit, and the blood from the monkey killed the rabbit because they have a different fuel source. All right, the Honda and the Mercedes-Benz take two different oils. The Honda and the Mercedes-Benz have two different fuels. All right, and so I'm just trying to help this. I'm just trying to make it make sense for people. Please do not try to get offended about what I'm saying. Just try to make logical sense of what I'm saying. Biologically, we are entities, but we're made mechanically. We're biological, but every part of us is made to serve a specific purpose. All right? And so we got to understand that nature has structure, nature has order, nature has intelligence. You don't just make up Santa Claus. You just don't make up the Easter Bunny. You just don't make up Jesus and take away the sun god. You don't create things that are not real, because that hurts the mind and the spirit of humanity. Okay, the universe is a real place. All right, and I just want to remind everyone of that. All right. So again, Omnivision EDU, Black News 720. I can't wait to get up with y'all on the next bill. I ain't gonna hold y'all for too long. I'm gonna let you enjoy your day. Peace and blessings to all the kings, all the queens, the brothers and the sisters in the building. Salute, much love. You already know, Brother Omnis. We out. Peace.